Well, hi, everybody, and welcome into the first of our Solid Orange Conversations. Mark Elliott, of course, our track coach, joins us here for our first conversation that we are going to have. And, Coach, first and foremost, appreciate you being with us. And I guess let's just start out. Just how are things? How are you doing right now?
Well, I'm doing good. I mean, it's, trying to follow, of course, obviously the criteria that is set for all of us to be safe. Same thing with our athletes, staying in touch with them. So have a chance to actually sit at home and get to know the house a little bit. I mean, as you know, our business is at this time of year, we're constantly on the move. So it's good just to sit back and hopefully, this unforeseen time will pass and we learn from it and move forward.
Well, I guess that kind of leads me. I mean, welcome to the age of technology, because now you're doing things in a totally different way. I mean, you're having to do streaming service just like we're doing right now, and I guess that's how you're keeping in touch with your student athletes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hope and I like it, but hopefully that's not the case because I want to make sure they can come back and we be able to, put hands on them and get them ready for whatever we're getting ready for, and also being in the classroom. But yes, the technology side of it is good, but we want to make sure real people like us is still involved and not just the technology. So in one instance, I'm getting a little bit more tech savvy, and that's good. You learn new things every day.
All right, so that's pretty good. I mean, I like that. I like the fact that this kind of force. I think all of us to become a little more tech savvy. Now, so who on your staff do you rely on though to help make you a little more tech savvy, or is it something that you're just figuring out yourself at home?
Well, I'm figuring it out at home, but I think it's a little bit it's a little bit foolproof in some sense. But my throws coach, Coach Kobe, is very good with finding out things. So if I get a little skid somewhere, I just make a phone call and he'll figure it out. But I think so far we haven't hit a skid yet.
All right, so you were about to head off into the outdoor season. You're coming off a great indoor campaign. Can we go? Let's go back and just kind of rehash the indoor campaign if we can. Unfortunately, when the news came to all of us, you were just about ready to go to the NCAA indoor championships. But you had just come off the ACCs where your team performed really, really well in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, I can tell you when the news came down, we were literally in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We were on the track, about ready to just get our pregame deal. And while we want to keep this pretty light, it was the first time I ever saw so many crying in track and field. You remember that ad, "There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in track and field unless you break a record." But it's in the end, I think our kids came out of it stronger. And I think they'll find the reason why they love the sport when it was just taken away for a good reason, obviously, to make sure their health, then they'll regroup and come back strong and understand, stuff can happen. You always say, and I've heard that just, what if you can't do this? And here goes, what if you can't do this? Time come around, and our kids seem to handle it very well. And, we're trying to get focused back on their academics, and we're looking ahead. I'm more of an optimistic guy, and hopefully every one of us come out of it safely, and we're moving forward and can look back years from now and smile and talk about how tech savvy we became.
I'm going to pick up on the academics here in just a little bit, but I want to stay kind of just with the performance part of what your student athletes were able to do in this campaign. So let's go. What were some of the highlights for you as you go back and you look on this? What were some of the highlights for you from both the men and the women for you?
Well, I mean, the highlights was just how well they were performing week to week. We spoke about it before, and coming off the ACC championship when we had, athletes were 1-2 finish in the women's 800. You have Marcus Parker winning the 200, and a lot of athletes were hitting their PR. Rebecca Smith was the normal Rebecca Smith, and even better at the NCAA meet. So we were so excited about how the season were progress in and how the kids were performing. And then, our sports, excuse me, were being viewed in such a great light, for power to you guys and Matt and all of that stuff. It was just a great year, and we were just keep building on it. And I'm sure we'll keep doing that, forward. So it was awesome. It was awesome. And I don't like to use the word was, but we'll see how it goes forward. But we were all excited. Coaches were doing well. They were doing a great job. So, it was a great thing.
And I guess that, the follow up to that, Coach, would be has it kind of sunk in with you about what your team did accomplish during the indoor part of the season, and maybe how much all of us should appreciate it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, it sunk in based on where it ended, and because in our sports you keep looking forward, because now we were getting ready for the national meet, and then we were going to go to the outdoors. And in our eyes, we had a much better outdoor teams than we have as an indoor team, and how well the indoor team was doing. When you're in that zone, it was just flowing pretty smooth. So yeah, it sunk in, and I think a couple of our athletes even had aspiration for the Olympics. They were still training and trying to get things done and all of that good stuff. And when you have athletes on your team that have aspiration for the upcoming Olympics, it gives you an idea that you have some real quality athletes on your team. And of course they make the other athletes even better. So it was a good feel.
Well, you mentioned the Olympics. Obviously the games in Japan now pushed back to 2021. Just the impact of that. What do you think the impact of giving now people, I guess, an extra year, but then what has to happen in qualifying and all that kind of stuff all over again?
Well, it becomes challenging as a coach now, because now you have to figure out how you now dial it back and then start preparing again for just a year from now. It's not 4 years from now as it relates to the Olympics, a year from now. So your coaching ability will be tested. And, your athletes, of course, has to their focus, and having a 4-year focus on this specific dates is now taking away how you regroup and come back. And, I like challenges like that. And, and that's a good thing, having athletes with those focus. They'll get right back on it and get prepared and ready. And a year from now, it's going to be good for some people that probably weren't as prepared. Now they get more time too. And so it'll be the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
All right, so let's talk about the academic side of this with your student athletes. Obviously now things online, which means you have to have a lot of help from the folks over at the Nieri Center. I know that Sarah Jo Lawrence and Adam Haddam are two that are over there helping your group out. Talk about the influence that those two are having and how everybody has gone about handling all this.
Well, the Nieri Center with Sarah and Adam, they did do such a great job while everything was normal. Now I'm on the phone with both of them almost on a daily basis, or texting, and things are going great. They adjusted. Most of our students adjusted. We're in the real world. Of course, you're going to have a few that are still trying to figure it out, but most of them are adjusted and give us time. And I think it now brings in the parent elements for those who went home. Now their parents can actually witness what actually happened on a daily basis when they're away, and maybe give them more, educate the parents more. So now instead of just calling up and say this, now you understand. Maybe your son or your daughter needs to get up a little bit earlier so they can log into Zoom quicker. And, so all the positive things that you think can happen will come from that. But I think the Nieri Center with Adam and Sarah Jo, they're on the ball. They're educating us too. And, what I try to do is support them as best as we can to keep the focus on the academics, which was always the focus. But now the spotlight can be on that and only that, because that's what this situation lends itself to be.
just before you and I are doing this by video conference, you had just come out of a video conference with all the other head coaches on the Clemson campus. What did you learn from them? Have you learned something from them, or was it just as a group, hey, just trying to inspire one another?
Well, as a group to inspire everyone, and I mean it's good because once we're in the normal circumstances, we're so immersed into our program that it's very rare you get to spend time with other coaches, not just head coaches, but other, in this case, it's head coaches. And it's good to listen to other coaches speak, and I do, and I'm sure I'm one of those person, I don't run around and just talk. So I'm sure some of them, it's like, oh, Mark actually speak, so it's good. So in terms of just bonding, via internet, it's good too. So it's fun, and you get to learn more and listen to other coaches, and not just waving, hey coach, how you doing? Great season, good season. You get a little bit more in depth on the way they think through. So it's a good thing.
We always talk so much about Clemson family, and I guess what is it that you found through this experience that really sets that out, and what is it that you really kind of feel that makes Clemson so special?
Well, the operative word is family. You could have a phrase, put it out there, and you heard me say this before, and that may not be the case, but in this case, the family atmosphere is what paramount here. I mean, just from the last Zoom meeting I just came out, all the coaches, no matter the sport, is there, and you get to really talk and interact as just a normal person than one sports over the other. So the family part of it, and showing concern, and our AD came on just before the meeting, and his main concern was asking us how we're doing. It's not, and that means, at least I can speak personally, that means a lot to you than, your boss comes on and worrying about what's this. It's like, how you doing? I just want to check in to see how you guys are doing. So the family part of it is real, and I'm sure it's real at other places, but I can speak for it here. It's good. It's good to have that.
Obviously, you're doing this from your house, right? So if I can, and I don't want to get too personal, but tell me a little bit about the Elliott household, and then also maybe something in your house that you think, okay, this is something that's really important to me. It can be anything, but tell me a little bit about the household, and maybe something in the house that's really important about you, or to you.
Yeah, for me, I mean, my house is basically a sanctuary as it relates to the family. I'm one of those OCD clean persons, so I'm in a pristine kind of clean place in my eyes. Where I'm sitting, I get to look out, and you could maybe see a deer running by and all of that kind of stuff. Where I grew up in Jamaica, we have space around our house, so I like space. I like big space, so that's what I like about, and it's unique about it. Our community is really unique, so for me, that's a thing. And I'm sitting in the kitchen because I consider myself a good cook, so that's where I'm sitting. At least that's my opinion again. But that's the unique part of it. It's consider myself a cook, and I'm sitting in here doing all my meetings, my Zoom meeting. It's like, it's just a new thing. But yeah, that's a unique thing.
All right. Well, that poses the greatest question that I can ask right now. All right, is Jamaican influence in your cooking? Have you gone a little bit more worldwide because of all the traveling that you have done as an athlete yourself and as a coach? What are the greatest influences then on you in your cooking?
Well, the common denominator is seasoning. My mom,
I like it.
Yeah, my mom owned a restaurant, so I in cooking, when I say it, I actually can. But yeah, I can cook basically anything, and then for years, as you know, I spent 20 years in Louisiana. So there you go with seasoning again, and then traveling around the world, so the Jamaican style, the Italian style, the American style, Latin American style, all that kind of stuff. If I want to, as it relates to being hot pepper, if you're a pepper person, yeah, you can eat at my house. So, but it's yeah, but that's a fun thing. And then now, because I don't go out to restaurants or go anywhere, you just cook every day, and cooking to me is peaceful. It's not a chore.
So are you a set menu guy? Do you have it planned out for the rest of the week, or hey, I'm just going to make it up as I go?
I just make it up as you go. But right now, because I try to seldom I go to the grocery store every day when it's normal. Pick something up, come home and cook. But now you have something at home, so you kind of decide what you want to do, and you do it. So I'm more of a chicken, fish kind of person.
Is there a
Steak.
House favorite? Is there a house favorite?
I think my athletes might tell you chicken, jerk chicken, maybe. Stuff like that. You hear jerk chicken as soon as you hear Jamaica, but it's just another way of barbecuing, and it's very good. So again, my
Munson house, the Munson household will come and pick up at 5:45 today.
All right, sounds good to me.
All right, so then let me as we kind of wrap this up. Greatest influence on you, was it somebody as a child in Jamaica? Was it a coach? Who was the biggest influence on you?
Well, it was my dad. It was my biggest influence. He was a former athlete too, and attended the same high school, and was a politician. He's no longer around. So the lifestyle, our home used to have on a normal day, 20, 30 people walking in and out, just kids. So the job that I do, being able to help mold our kids into being better adults, and of course maximize their talent athletically, comes from my dad. So it starts there, and I keep that, and we're more of a friendly, and normally you gather around because of food, just like it is in the United States, so it's, before my early year in coaching, I would have 50 people over cooking and eating and all of it. Most of them, the international kids who couldn't go home for spring break or couldn't go home for Thanksgiving, we have our own Thanksgiving at the house. So it's fun. So that's my dad is the major influence, I would say.
Have you ever thought, or if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what you would do?
I started out, I wanted to be the president of Jamaica. It's prime minister. It's just, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a politician. I'm still kind of a politician. My wife is a politician, so it's, but that's what I wanted to do. My brother is actually a politician. So, but then I think I get more influence here as it relates to, working with young kids and moving them forward. And, in all the years I've been coaching, it's good. And I'm not saying anything new, like any other coach would. Look at kids that you had some influence on and what they have gone on to be and become and all of that good stuff. So
President Elliott has a good ring to it. I like that.
It's actually prime minister in Jamaica.
Prime minister, okay.
I say president so the audience could understand, but yeah, it's prime minister.
Appreciate your time. I know that that all of us are having to, kind of get used to all of this, but appreciate your time. All the best to you and the family, all of your student athletes as well. We appreciate what you do for the Clemson family.
Well, thank you. And I just make sure everyone, follow the distance and stay safe out there, be careful and all of that good stuff. And, and I appreciate being on, and of course, go Tigers.
Absolutely. All right, there you go. Our solid orange conversation. Thank you, Coach Elliott.
Thank you.